All right, sorry for delay. I'll call the 4 o'clock meeting of the Selectmen Board, September 19th, to order. Since we have Peter here, we're going to talk about one of the current lawsuits we have going on, and got some updated news for people who are here, who are concerned citizens. And just pass it over to Peter, if you would, please.
Okay. As many of you probably know, the town of Jackson is facing a lawsuit challenging the town's electioneering policy, which was essentially passed in 1987 when a warrant article was approved that prohibited electioneering on town-owned property, and that's basically evolved over the years to into a 200-foot buffer zone around the polling place. So electioneering has been held 200 feet from the polling place. That policy has been challenged, and that case is currently pending in the Carroll County Superior Court. In the meantime, we had a meeting, one of the selectmen and the chairwoman of the school board and the school board's lawyer and the superintendent of schools back in June at the Whitney Center, and the moderator, Bill Kelly. And we basically agreed to allow electioneering on what you see colored in yellow here. Can you get this plan on your thing? So here you see the Whitney Center. Here you see the Jackson Grammar School and Route 16B. And this is a strip of land on school district property, sort of opposite the driveway, pulling into the commercial area and pulling into the Whitney Center. So what you see here, colored in yellow, is the electioneering area that we agreed to designate back in June when we met. Subsequently, through some discussions between the plaintiff and his lawyer and the school board, I guess the school board is considering, and maybe even has adopted, a policy which not only allows electioneering in this yellow area, but also electioneering in these three areas that you see colored in orange in front of the Whitney Center, sort of between the driveway and the walkway. I'm not sure if the school board has adopted the orange area as part of its electioneering policy yet or not, but this is what's under consideration, in which electioneering would be allowed in the yellow area without any restrictions. Electioneering would be allowed in the areas with a prohibition against electioneering in the 10 minutes before school starts and in the 10 minutes. And so I think the selectmen just wanted to make the public aware of the fact that this is what's being discussed for an electioneering area or electioneering areas, and to invite feedback from the public on whether or not you agree with what's being proposed or disagree or would like to see something different for electioneering. So that's sort of an update on where things stand. Anything else?
Well, it seems pretty clear and straightforward where it's at right now.
So we don't have a big crowd here. I know how the moderator feels. Maybe you'll get some feedback from Jackson residents after they see this on TV.
John, I'd just like to make a comment. For the record, I'd like to clarify a couple of things if I could.
Absolutely.
First off, we adopted at a town meeting unanimously in 1986 an RSA that the state of New Hampshire still has as an active RSA on their books. Howbeit, several years ago, the New Hampshire Attorney General advised that that may be unconstitutional and may not be enforceable. And he recommended to the town moderators that has that ordinance adopted to create a 200-foot rule. That's where the 200-foot rule came from. Not from me, from the State Attorney General's office as a recommendation to the moderator who has the authority to make his own rules. I would just like that clarified and on record that that's where those things came from. It's nothing that the moderator dragged up in 1986 or in 2012.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, again, one thing we have to think about, as the select board is whether we're going to, change that ordinance to make it, more viable for the area that we're now, performing elections in. March at some point, we'll probably do that. Hopefully, come up with one that meets the muster, as they say. and will survive any future challenges by anybody who, disagrees with our ordinance. But that's where it stands right now. We'd like to, hopefully, did you find out anything about the school board?
I did talk to one member on the school board, and he did confirm that they had looked at this, and it was through their attorney and the plaintiff's attorney that they had proposed this, as well as reimbursing the legal fees, and they were against the legal fees, but had considered expanding that, and he was unclear about whether they were through a first policy reading or through a second policy reading. So didn't get 100% confirmation, but it's certainly something they're looking at, and may have been through 2 policies. He wasn't quite clear.
2 readings. Usually they vote on
two
the third,
readings.
right?
One
Right.
reading.
1 reading?
It was
It's
the first
usually-
reading on the 10th.
Oh, was it?
I did the meeting.
Oh,
did
you were there.
Oh,
That was the
asked you.
first reading. Okay, so it hasn't been formally adopted yet.
No.
Okay, so that's where that is.
More
That's where that.
input is sought as well.
Great,
But
Yeah,
the issue is on the table, and you guys are welcoming feedback from the
That's right.
residents. Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Anybody else have any questions for Peter before he leaves?
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
appreciate it.
No, I don't think so, unless you have something else on?
You guys can keep that plan.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Bill.
I'm sure we'll all be in touch.
Oh, yes. All righty. Back to reality here. Second on the agenda is to amend and approve the minutes from the September 5th meeting. Does anybody have any motions, I should say, for signing those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on it? Boy, there's quite
I
a
have
few
none.
pages here,
Yeah.
holy cow.
It was
A lengthy one.
a big read.
Sorry.
That's all right, yeah.
That's all right.
We're the ones.
Any discussion on those?
I have none.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Also are the September 5th non-public meetings. B, which was RSA 91-A-32A. Just sign the back of those because those have already been sealed. And likewise, the minutes, non-public, second session of non-public minutes, labeled C on our agenda. And the last one is the ones that inadvertently were in a pile, and I did not seal these, so we have to do that now. I think I filled out paperwork on that. Sign those here. Well, that's good, sir.
Sure.
That was quick.
All right. Oop, that didn't work well. Defective tongue. All right. And next is an update of the action items. Let's see, Julie isn't here tonight, so she's pretty short here. That's yours. That's yours. Any update on the fire burglar alarm information from LGC?
I don't think it's really an update. I think it's what we talked about before, and it has to do with, whether you charge and how much money you charge and all that for. I think it's up for discussion how far we want to go with this, and just for discussion. If the higher the fees go, the more collection problem you're going to have, and so I guess what we're trying to do obviously is just get away from these false alarms more than anything. But how much do you pay for them? I don't know. I don't have an opinion of that.
Healthcare update?
Julie and I went to a presentation on healthcare, and I think it's important that I will put together some kind of information over the next, month or so regarding the best I can do about the healthcare update to make a record for our meeting. It's just very, very dicey program. So I think that I need to get some information. I had some charts I was going to bring in, but then as I reviewed the charts, I said, you need more information before you get to that chart business. So I think what I'd like to do is keep it on there, and I will try to get some meatier information for future meetings.
Very good.
My action item was the Whitney's Pond. We did get some information from Jay regarding monies that were voted on by the town in several Marches ago. I don't have the date in front of me, but so the town has been putting money into that pond. So we have certainly put some time and effort into maintaining that. And at this point...
Is this the first year that you've done that? Or no?
Oh, no, Mary, let's have to find Jay's thing. It's right here in my pile of stuff.
Because it is a private pond.
But it being a fire pond, it kind of supersedes that, because we need that.
There's no hydrant there.
I believe there is, right on the roadside.
No,
There's no hydrant right there, big red one, comes up by the tennis court?
no.
Sure? Thought there was. But here's what he wrote. I'll paraphrase, because this work on the pond was done while B was in office, and there was a lot of discussion on this very topic. B knows and has known the town invests time and money for some of its fire ponds, and they are a very big asset to the town. This issue was discussed in 2010 when B was in office, and she had no issue with it at the time. And then he came down with a record of some events here. 1976, 1979, that's through from 1976 to 79. Installment of a dry hydrant. It appears this was done at Whitney's. Work was done by Coleman's and paid by the town. 2004, replaced the dry hydrant at Whitney's. The hydrant was moved to the pond area, so that's maybe where it is now. I haven't seen it recently either. I haven't looked. Dredging in 2010, dredging was done by LAD, which is Drew, I believe, and paid for by Black Mountain. The town of Jackson hauled, filled away, and improved access to the dam. So there's some partnership there. In 2011-2012, assisted Black Mountain with dam repairs after Hurricane Irene. The town of Jackson bought a culvert and some miscellaneous materials, small materials to do that. And we were reimbursed for that by the FEMA. And then he has, this is a 1978 town report to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,000 for the completion of a dry hydrant and construction and conduct an exploratory plan for the location of future dry hydrants. That was in 1978, excuse me. 1977 town report to see if the town would vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $3,000 for the installation and maintenance of dry hydrants. So,
So did they do it?
I don't know if they were approved, to be quite honest, but we do have, Jay did say that in 1976 to 1977, they did install dry hydrants, so they must have approved it at that time. So we have spent money on those, and not to say we own them, we don't, but we certainly, I would think, would like to keep those fire ponds, functional in case they're needed.
Okay. So are you through?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Now, DES inspected the pond
Mm-hmm.
in May and June, and there's a lot of bulldozed material that's not protected against erosion. And they did use the sandbags, make sandbag coffers, all without, is the town required to apply for wetland permits?
That had nothing to do with the town, the
well-
sandbags. Somebody asked me, Bob Davis asked me, how has the funds been divided up
Yeah.
there? And that's what I was explaining that.
I'd like to know what's happening now, because it appears that nothing's been done about, they're doing work with a lack of wetland permits. And if you walk by there, the new channel that they bulldozed has all the water. The original stream bed hardly has any water in it.
Yep.
By the road. And DES requested that they apply for wetland permit and do certain things about the erosion. But I don't see anything happening there. And the dam is badly damaged and needs work done on it. That's used mostly to make snow, so whose responsibility is it? And somebody asked the horse people to move their manure pile from the bank of the river, which was a good idea. But where they have it now isn't any better. It's right on a drainage pipe area that goes right in the river. So you should have checked that.
Which, we did have a manure pile moved from that island, that little parking area
They
there.
were told to just move it across the street, but where it is, it's not any better.
Right. We started at Forte because we had some issues with people leaving early.
That's all right, the officers didn't snow.
But I hate to see that nothing's being done to repair the Great Brook Whitney Pond because, you know, one of the sets of minutes I read where all the bags have been picked up, that's not true. You walk, Ann and I picked up a lot of bags from the pond to the bridge on Wilson Road. If you walk the rest of the way, all the way to Jackson Falls, you see a lot more bags caught in debris, buried in the gravel. And the stuff is poisonous to the fish. And I stopped today, you look at the stream right behind the bar where Black Mountain has their picnic area, there's a shredded bag right there in the stream. So they can't be planning to build those again this fall.
I'll check on the status of those permits.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, it was and that's when it was brought to our attention, when we found out there were sandbags downstream that had been put up, and that's when the DES
Got
sent
involved.
letters to both.
I have witnesses, they've been found in Jackson Falls.
Sent-
And you know, they still have sand on them, and they're very difficult to get up.
So the DES sent letters to both Whitney's owners and Black Mountain, and looking for clarification of just what was going on up there, and there hasn't been any follow-up to the best of our knowledge yet.
Well, so you people don't have to follow up on it?
Well, DES, to my knowledge,
We
is
are.
handling it. We will check in on it, but that was, you know, we threw it in their lap. All right, so I don't know how quickly DES works, you know. You know, we have another issue over by Eagle Mountain House too,
Oh, yeah.
with erosion that, you know, needs to be taken care of, I think, too. So, you know, we haven't seen a lot of real action on either of those fronts yet, so.
No, there's nothing happening.
We'll check into it, I appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments on that?
Where are we on the menu?
We are on the, sorry, Bill, we are on number 3, action items, just started.
Oh, okay.
So that would be nice to get an update on the communication between both Black Mountain and Whitney's with the DES.
So noted.
Find out what we can about that.
Okay.
Before the phone?
Any other comments on that issue?
Great picture.
All right, Bob, you had some fire or burglar alarm info. I don't know why that was on twice, but,
It was Bill's,
okay.
yeah, and he gave that. I think it was under all of us because we had the information that
All
came
right,
through.
Julie is not here tonight. She had some items as well. The first item was we used to do annual life safety inspections, I guess, way back when, and we don't know why it stopped, but she's going to check into that and provide us with some information next meeting. Check in with the DES, there you go, Mayor. Make sure we can remove a birch tree that's near the Historical Society, and the DES gave us permission, so apparently they do some things quickly. Email Andy and have him respond to the selectmen regarding job descriptions. Spoke to Andy, said he would respond to the selectmen. Haven't heard yet, obviously. And selectmen can take money from another department for the animal control, and and how much, from where and how much. The selectmen need to decide how much money to move to animal control and where it should come from. So we need to take a look at that and move a line item there, which I don't think we're prepared to do because, like I said, Julie isn't here with that information. So
Right.
a lot of that will be tabled, I'm afraid.
I think Jay's ready to take that tree down, though.
Good.
I don't know if he's spoken to you guys or not, but he's got to leave a stump, and he has to make sure none of it gets in the river, and they're fine with it.
Talking to Warren?
I'm sorry, you're talking?
Yeah, talking about the tree.
The tree at the
Yeah.
historical side, we got approval for that to
Yeah,
take it
I
down.
saw that.
Okay.
That's great. Now I've got to find somebody to do it.
Well, Jay should do it, right?
Volunteers up there?
I got cycle coming my place next week.
I can use some work from them too. Public comments. Anybody?
Alrighty, anyways.
Bill?
May I ask a question? No, Bill, you're first.
No, go ahead.
Well, seeing, I didn't know you started at 4. What was the verdict on the school board electioneering policy?
I'm glad you asked, B. Behind us here is a diagram of what is being considered right at this point. The yellow area is the approved area the school board approved of to allow electioneering on their property. The orange area is presently pending in the school board to see if they want to add that in. Right now, they went through the first reading according to Martha, and they are getting prepared to accept that as a second area for electioneering.
Considering it, yeah.
Considering it. That's where we stand right now.
There was something about 10 minutes before and after school.
Yeah, the orange area, they restricted it, they can't be there 10 minutes before school or 10 minutes after school. Again, that's,
Never been on the school
no,
board.
that's the, we have to change the ordinance, is what we have to do in March, if it passes, of course, but, we have to make that, pass the muster in the court.
Didn't the court give an injunction? What happened to that?
Doesn't mean we lost, it just means they gave us a temporary injunction, right, to allow it for the time being until a decision is made, and we're in this process right now, and that's kind of where we stand right at the moment. Pretty much our option is that, or go to the town garage and have the election there, which is
Why cancel it? Why don't we just cancel it?
cancel the election.
Yeah. Saying we can't.
Due to lack of
so
interest.
what do we do?
Well,
That deal, is Benish still suing us?
yes,
Over that?
yes.
That's still an active suit?
That's, we were giving you an update on that.
Is Gino part of that suit?
No,
Just Benish?
Yes.
So, I thought he dropped that, but he didn't, right?
no. We're in a state of negotiations right now between lawyers.
Because of one person.
And the school board is involved, and it's their property, and it's their prerogative to set policy on their land. And so their attorney and the SAU superintendent are also involved with Mr. Benesh and his lawyer as well.
So, for 30 years, it was okay with 200-foot setback, and now all of a sudden, because some person decided that's not a good thing.
The straw that broke the camel's back was the original ordinance was written to be on town property. And since Whitney Center isn't on town property, it voided that whole ordinance basically. And he called it on us.
Why don't we bring it back here and vote out of this building?
Because.
Doesn't meet-
The state wants you to set it up.
Doesn't meet the state requirements. I mean, that's basically what it leaves us. It leaves us, something like that, or have it up in the town garage. That's basically the two choices we have right now.
We have to move a couple trucks.
Yeah. But until, if a new ordinance passes, then, it should be okay. I mean, but we may have to eat it for the first, a couple elections until March election. We can vote in a new ordinance, which would be acceptable to the courts.
And that's our proposed,
No, our ordinance could be anything. We haven't written it yet. We could say no electioneering anywhere near Whitney Center if we wanted to. I mean, we haven't written it yet, so we have no idea. But the idea being is that's what it's going to be probably until March, at which time a new ordinance, if voted in, would take effect and therefore rectify this problem of having it on town property versus school property. Because that's the catch. It's the fact that the Whitney Center is on school property.
Any person at any time can take the town to court claiming that an ordinance is not legal. So, if we adopt an ordinance, that doesn't mean that's the end of it.
They can challenge it.
before Benish
Anyone can
instituted
challenge
a
any
suit,
ordinance in court.
Before Benish instituted a suit,
Mhm.
did he come to the selectmen and ask them to give consideration to making these changes, or did he just flat out institute a suit?
He came in a couple of times and requested us to engage with our lawyer. This was back when Jerry was chair, I believe. At the time, the select board decided not to engage the lawyer, and I think that kind of precipitated this lawsuit.
It was the moderator's prerogative to set and enforce the electioneering areas.
Right.
So the moderator had the authority.
And he's challenging that.
Yeah, that's what he basically is challenging in court, the moderator's authority. Yeah,
Doesn't the moderator have, in any town,
right.
don't they have the jurisdiction to set whatever they want?
Well, we found out today, and I wasn't aware of this, is that it is an individual case-by-case basis. If you have, an area that's perfectly safe, there's no issues with traffic or any danger to anybody, the court would probably say, hey, you could have it here and you should have it here. But if it's a dangerous situation, they can say no. So they actually have had several different distances that they have granted in court, superior court cases, I guess, that 100, 200, 500, it's variable. And it's kind of the actual physical plant that you're having the election at, that it's an individual case. Now, whoever makes a decision on this, Judge Moran or whoever is running the case, he may say that's totally unsafe. And, your 200-foot thing was good. But we don't know that until we go to court. We just got a temporary injunction to allow him to, electioneer for that last election. And until, it goes that distance, we won't know to what the decision is. It's an individual case-by-case basis.
So we're waiting for a court date.
Yes, we have, we had one for the 30th, and this new proposal was just presented to Frank's lawyer, and they haven't considered it or finished any, decisions yet. So we're not technically, they postponed the court case. So right now we don't have it, but probably be coming. Yep.
Well, what about the fact that Bill Kelly was going under the assumption of the 200-foot setback, not only with our ordinance here in town, but with what they had, him and my husband Jerry had gone up to Bretton Woods for a seminar, and that's what they were told to use as the criteria. So Bill, not being aware of that it had been changed or anything else, he was innocently going on that assumption. And I just find that this is a little strange, that's all.
Yeah, again, what Bob said, anybody could sue anybody at any time, and if you don't think you're being treated fairly, that's kind of the way to go, and I guess we're going to find out one way or the other. Hopefully before March, but
What's this cost us so far?
I don't have the bill in front of me, but it's in the $3,000 or $4,000 range so far, and we'll be asked to reimburse for his fees too, of course.
Oh, of course. Doesn't sound like it makes much sense to me, and it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
That one individual can turn a town upside down. It's been good enough for 200, for 30 years to 200 foot, and as long as I've been around, not including in Jackson, 200 foot was like that was a matter of fact for everything. Now all of a sudden, it's good.
Conway does the buffer. I mean, they just do the 10-foot corridor and that's it, you know. It's not-
Go by, try to vote one of
I,
those
you
corridors.
know, not disagreeing, I'm not disagreeing with you.
That's not what people want to do in Jackson. They want to go there without being antagonized by some idiot that doesn't feel that the setback is right. So he wants to stand at the door and beat you up before you go in there.
Please, no name calling.
I didn't say anything about any names. I'll get to that later.
I guess the last comment I wanted to make about that, I lost my train of thought on that. But. Anybody else on public comments? All right.
Before this came about, I was going to just comment. This thing with, this situation with Mary. You know, we're talking about, it's turned over to the DES, right? Why don't we find out what Mary expects to happen and wants to happen? And instead of turning over to the DS, go to John, is it John? Go to John and say, hey, John, here's a list of what we want to see to make it right. And give him a chance to clean the place up. I know he's had a chance and everything, but this, that, you know, give the guy a chance. The guy's a businessman. He's a taxpayer and tax a businessman. I don't want to run his business out of town. I don't want to see the guy, what is it you want?
He's been given a list.
Fine,
Of
give
things
him
to
another list, give him
This
30
guy.
days to clean it up, and then if he, and then you can walk the river with him. And if he satisfies you, fine. If he doesn't, then turn it over to DES.
Well, it doesn't seem right that he's completely changed the course of Great Brook, which is protected, well,
If he changed that course, that I know it's wrong. So now what do you want him to do about
Stop
that?
in there and look, go across the bridge and
Did he
try
do
to
any
make it water
damage?
there.
Did he damage anything?
All right, guys.
Well, he's damaging trout habitat, the stream, yeah.
It's got to be. It would have to be rectified at some level and meet the the needs, or not the needs, but the desired outcome of the
What
DES at
worries
this
me
point.
is that the dam hasn't been repaired yet, and he's gonna want to build more of those plastic coffer dams to make snow this winter.
Sure.
He hasn't done anything yet to rectify the situation
We'll check into it.
How many years has he been doing that?
since Hurricane Irene.
No, I mean, he's been making those bags for years, I understand.
No,
That's what I was told.
I'm not sure on that.
I don't really remember either. But they're all the way down the stream, to Jackson Falls. It's a mess.
All right, let's move on here. Any
Gotta
other
repair the real dam.
public comments? All right, we'll go on to police report, please.
Good afternoon.
I guess it's going to be a regular deal now, huh?
Yes.
Talk to the chief.
Just so everybody knows, the chief has personal issues with the, okay.
All right, things that have been going on last couple of weeks. We have a couple of courtesy transports, people that just needed a ride from one place to another vehicle. So, pick them up, help them out. Fingerprinted one subject for employment, probably Sound 9, usually school, I'm not sure. One VIN verification, one medical assist that occurred, two assists to other agencies, one being Conway, another being Berlin, one fireworks complaint, a couple domestic animal complaints involving goats, two stalking complaints had come in, 4 burglar alarms responded to, 3 motor vehicle accidents, 1 moose, 1 accident with a moose, 1 with a bear, and 1 with the covered bridge.
What?
The covered bridge.
Oh.
Seems every year.
Somebody nix it.
So
Did
minor
you get the
damage-
person on that?
Yeah, it was a local in town.
Okay, just happened.
Reported that a bee or something just flew into their ear or something, distracted them.
That happens.
Superficial damage,
Yeah.
nothing serious.
Couple
but-
boards.
So, a couple of cases at district court, arraignments that have gone on. One alert from another agency, Framingham Mass PD, of a possible wanted subject that could have come up to Jackson to lay low, but we haven't heard, seen, or have any, we don't know if it's ongoing. We haven't found anything in that yet, so. And we also had the Freedom Walk, which went very well. I believe that's it.
Great. Anybody have anything?
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. Good
All
day.
right, have a good day. Item number 6 is building matters. We have, I guess, 2 permits here. First one is on map R17, lot 12, the Hardings, converting an office area into a bathroom. So that's been taken care of, or will be taken care of, has been by Andy. That's good on that. And the other one is a map B09, lot 19. It's the Skimo's Ski Club. I guess they had some work done on their porch. It's also been done and checked with Andy, I guess. So that's just an FYI. Necessary emergency work on that one.
Did they do that after the permit?
With the building permits, Andy, for emergency situations, sometimes you have to fix something right away, and then they go and they not backdate the permit, but allow it to go, but because it is an emergency situation. I think that was the case with the Skimo one. Yeah, it was pretty tough shape, I guess. But, and that is in the building code. That, if you have an emergency repair and you can't get hold of the building inspector, and you got pipes leaking all over the place, and you need help, you can get it done, and then go back and check that for you. And that's allowed as long as you're not new construction, just repair work. Item number 7, assessment appeal review for Jason Call. This is Robert Sears' approval, I think. That one. This is after our meeting the other day.
Right.
Action on this. I just saw this today. I'm really not really comfortable moving on something I'm looking at for the first time.
The table at the next meeting.
Some urgency to get it back, though.
What's the date on the email from Jason to Julie?
September 12th.
It was a week ago.
Yeah, I think that it seems like Jason's feeling like it's reasonable.
We got 3 weeks before our next meeting.
Right.
We need to move on that one, I think.
They're just looking.
The issue, we went down there and looked at the place. And it was,
Right. Yeah.
That was the original, it's the revised, that's the difference. One of these.
Jason is okay with it?
Yep, I think the email explained it.
Getting back to this as we can. Generally, then it's enough for him to drop the appeal.
I read that email.
It's your pleasure, gentlemen.
I am not a real estate appraiser or anything else. I know that what I personally saw down there, that reevaluation is okay. But
you know,
And I don't want to go to court over it.
I think it looks reasonable to Jason, and obviously the
we're only looking at
property's in
10%.
disrepair and something that,
off of that.
right. I have no problem with it.
Okay, you have a motion?
Motion to accept the town assessor's assessment appeal
More discussion?
recommendation. No?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Get that moving forward. Item number 8, North Country Council. Thank you. Something, please note to attend. 40th annual meeting dinner. North Country Council Board of Directors have a dinner. The Honorable Maggie Hassan will be there. Wednesday, October 23rd, the Grand View up in Whitefield. This is in October 23rd, right? So we have time to respond to that, so it's not like that's just an FYI. $35 a person. Anybody's interested in that, let Julie know. Item number 9, New Hampshire Association of Assessing Officials. To review and vote assessing officials due October 10th. So we have time on this one. This is not time. This is so, Pete, this is a vote, so this is a election ballot for
Right.
assessing officials, so. I don't have really what was this? So I guess we have time to do this one, just we need to table that one. It's not due to the 10th. Yeah, it's just a ballot. Any timber tax?
That's the Jackson Ski Touring
I'm sorry,
Foundation.
one up too far. Jim Jackson's Ski Touring Foundation. Again, this is another invitation. Oh, this is a binder easement for the ski touring for property out back, I believe.
Mhm.
I guess I need a motion to sign that.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It's the 19th today, correct?
Yes.
All right. Very good. Now the timber tax. All right. We were on a time crunch on this one, so we each signed this outside of office, but I need a motion to accept the timber tax.
So moved.
Second.
All right, and this is for Than Unit number 27, R19, Lot 1. Martha. And that's already been signed, so make that public, and it was inadvertently left to the last minute, unfortunately. All right, transfer of funds, trustees of the trust fund, please sign. Authorize the transfer of $200,000 to the Road Construction Capital Reserve Fund per Article 7. There is an invoice that needs to be paid. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $200,000 to replace an existing road reconstruction capital reserve fund. The fund balance as of 2012 was zero. Said funds that come from an unreserved fund balance, and the fund balance as of 2/31/11 was $1,013,045, and that was on the warrant article back in March. So we just have to sign the invoices here for that. I guess I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second part of this is the withdrawal of the trust funds. And this is the paving that's been going on. Looks real good, by the way. Very good. All right. Transfer station, Notchland Inn. Where is he? Regarding use of contact. All right, again, this is new to me. It says, this is a letter to Gene Chandler. It says, Mr. Chairman, after speaking with John Edgerly, we are requesting permission to deposit recyclables at the Bartlett Jackson Transfer Station. All items, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard. We would pre-sort the cardboard and we flatten it prior to our deposit. We have collected, sorted, and stored up recyclables for a few months with the initial deposit to be substantial, 1 or 2 truckloads. After the initial visit, we anticipate 1 or 2 truckloads per month. And this is from Ed Butler, the innkeeper at Notchland Inn. And then from the town of Bartlett, we get, Dear Board of Selectmen, this is to us. Enclosed, please find a letter received from Notchland regarding issuing a Bartlett Jackson transfer station for depositing their recyclables. In a little history, the towns of Jackson and Bartlett originally included Hart's location in our solid waste district. But when we moved to the current transfer station, they decided to opt out and go their own way, as if they felt it would be more economical for them. Please let us know your thoughts on whether to allow them to use our transfer station for recyclables. Comments?
Well, so they haven't really told us how they feel about it.
No.
It's in township.
That was the original agreement, but they said they did opt out of it, and we do make money off of those recyclables. So,
How long have they been out of it, and,
well, it's been a while.
and whose dumpsters will they dump this stuff in, ours or?
I'd like to know how they feel about it, because they haven't really said.
Good question.
What have they been doing with their stuff up till now? You know, why do they want it back in? I don't know.
Are they just asking about recyclables? Not
Right, just
the
recyclables.
So it won't be going into a specific dumpster town-wise, it just goes into recycling?
Correct. And we'll just go to the recycle bin, and that's all, revenue for us. So it technically wouldn't cost us anything, other than the, time that people obviously are there at the dump, but that's there anyways.
Sounds like they have a backup because they're saying, backup product up there because they're saying.
Yeah, my question is what they've been doing for the last 10 years, if they haven't all of a sudden need a place there.
Yes, and the other thing is that they must have a lot of it up there because they need to immediately bring a couple of truck loads.
Well, I think we need to find out what Bartlett thinks and what the costs are, if any.
I think that's a starting point, because they are in the township of Bartlett.
Are they?
No, they're not.
No, no.
They were in Hartsville.
Oh,
Hart's
Hart's
lo-
location.
Hart's location,
Right,
so,
Right.
no, like I said, that was the original gig to include them, but they decided they didn't want to deal with it, so.
Did John's letter, is that all, was that from John? Or?
No, this one was from Ed Butler, the innkeeper, and this is from the Bartlett Selectmen.
Probably ought to ask John what that's going to do to the dump.
I'll go up there and talk to him, that's my gig anyway, so
That's another good idea.
put that on my plate, I'll take
Do
care
we
of
have
it.
any other Hart's location testing?
Not aware of, no. I don't know where they do with it, I mean,
What they're all doing?
you know, make a note on that. good question. All right, manifest. Let's see, I got it. Let's see, who didn't sign that?
I don't sign it till the meeting.
There you go. Got a whole bunch of them here. Go for it. All righty. While Bob is doing that, any new business from anybody?
I have,
When were you gonna do this? Do you know we're gonna do it now?
We can do that at 17.
Okay.
Anybody?
no, I have nothing.
All right, so 16, old business, Black Mountain, we talked about that with Mary a few minutes ago. I will follow up on that, Mary, and let you know what the DES status is.
May I address Bill's comment?
Sure, go ahead, if it's brief.
You know, Bill, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And they did all sorts of correcting improperly, and it's causing water erosion. And if they had gotten a proper water permit, they would have gotten good advice on how to do it. And that was back in May, and they haven't reacted. That what they did it illegally.
So what do we do about it? Do we run the guy out of town? Do we throw him out of town? The guy's a businessman, he's struggling like everybody else does.
Well,
And it doesn't give him the right to do what he did, correct? But if we're gonna do it right, he deserves right from us to make the corrections before we go running to
I don't know.
DES. And I know you told him,
No, DES has been in touch with them, I told them.
well, you put DES in touch with him. You guys went to DES. I'm saying that we should have approached the man and given him a chance to correct what
Well,
the wrongdoings are.
they spoke to him and showed him what to do. They were there twice in May and June.
All right.
I'd still like to see the guy, I don't want to see the guy get run out of business. And let's face it, Black Mountain ski is, my kids learned to ski there. You know, and I don't want to see it out of business. I want to see the thing be there for everybody and give the guy a chance. I don't know how.
Well, then why don't you go talk to him?
I'm
Asking why.
Excuse me,
All right, guys,
excuse
all right,
me.
all right, all right, let's-
It's our understanding that DES has contacted both parties, and they've been made aware of what they need to do to come into compliance, and they've been given some sort of a time frame. And we're not directly involved because it's not town property. We will be following up on this and reporting new information as we find it.
They were supposed to.
But the selectmen's
August 30th.
meeting is not a time for an exchange between the public on an issue. Thank you.
Thanks. Item number B, burglar alarms, we just talked about that. Do we want to adopt a similar ordinance to Milford? I'm not familiar with the Milford one.
I was gonna say, let me go talk to the chief again, and let's go through what he thinks is reasonable. I'll come back with some, whatever, maybe Milford or it may not, but maybe we can decide on the amount or something. Let me handle it with the chief first, and I'll get back to you.
And I think you're right. I think there's probably an amount that's reasonable, and then an amount where you're going to start to see you're not able to collect, so.
Yeah, you don't want to get into that, so let me talk with him and see what we can come up with a number, and we'll go from there.
And we did get another letter from Hastings Law. Did everybody get a chance to see that recently? Possible pending litigation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That one right there. It may have been my fault, I didn't pass that on.
I know, I saw.
You saw that one?
That's the electronic, yeah.
Yes, okay. So, pending litigation, okay. 17, lastly, is more public comments, and again, Bill has something quick to read from an anonymous citizen who dropped this off today.
Requested not to give us their name, but would like this read in public, so It says, "Dear Jackson Selectmen," it says, "I ask that this letter be read and entered into the minutes. I am not a public speaker and do not want to be videotaped. This is why I'm not giving you my name on anonymous. The extensive discussion and the cost to taxpayers involving the ACO, which is the
Animal control officer.
Animal Control Officer, regarding dog licenses is a concern to me and many others with whom I have discussed this. I am very curious to know of any other town in New Hampshire that is paying an ACO to research private addresses for owners of unlicensed dogs, then go unto their private property to confront these owners. Mr. Lurkert's comments that if the ACO does not do this and someone gets bitten by an unvaccinated dog, that the town could be held liable is laughable. My guess is that the select board would be hard pressed to find any towns that have been sued because of a dog in their town was unvaccinated, was rabid, and bit someone. Is the town liable if someone gets bitten by a fox? Is the ACO in Conway, Bartlett, Concord, or Amherst is knocking on doors asking people to register their dogs and to vaccinate them? Taxpayers cannot afford to pay an ACO to do this. And as a resident, I would not want a stranger coming onto my property unannounced. And if the ACO called to ask if they could stop by, then why not just talk with the person over the phone? Also, it sounds as though the ACO has used up the budget for this position. Does this mean that the select board is going to pull funds from somewhere else in order to maintain this position? It really sounds as though this position is working to become a full-time position. I wonder how much money will request in the budget for the next fiscal year for this position. Why Jackson needs an ACO is beyond me, especially when the spread out larger towns such as Bartlett cannot justify the cost of an ACO. Another concern is that the Jackson ACO appears to be handling bear incidents when other towns, these are directed to the Fish and Game. Conway's website directly instructs people to contact Fish and Game when wildlife is involved. See below. I look forward to hearing your response in the minutes. Appreciative of the work, even though we don't always are in agreement. And says from the Conway Police Department website, although the Animal Control Officer is not responsible for wildlife, a cooperative working relationship with the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department has been established. The CPD Animal Control will assist the New Hampshire Fish and Game by responding to wildlife that is causing imminent danger to citizens. Reports of wildlife concerns should be made directly to the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department. Complaints concerning wildlife in the town of Conway shall be made to New Hampshire Fish and Game by calling Carroll County Sheriff Dispatch at 1-800-552-8960. I feel like I need to comment something about this as my name's
Sure,
in there.
absolutely.
As I understand it, it's $650 to register the dog. There's a reason, much of the money goes to the state, doesn't stay here. It's a revenue negative process. It came up, we didn't dream it up. It's part of the town that you need to license your dog. The purpose of the license is to say you need to have an updated rabies shot for your animal in order to register. So there is no money, we're not making any money doing this. How this came about is that we're obligated under the RSAs to do something about we're committed to this. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And under that, the tax office said we have a number of people haven't done it. They were written 2 letters and phone calls, and it's not resolved. There was a discussion about what we should do, and we said, well, maybe if we go knock on the door, we take some stuff with them, maybe people will just say, oh, I forgot to do that. Yeah, I'll do it right now. And we haven't had any luck like that. So that's how we kind of got here at this point. And I'm certainly open for suggestions on, how we proceed from here.
I thought when you said that you were gonna have her knock on doors, that if you didn't get a positive response, then you would send a warrant.
We decided against sending warrants.
Yeah.
We just said that's awfully aggressive.
Do we let these people slide and you and I pay? and
Well, that's
they
the
pay?
question. Yes, B.
Well, I don't think if my dog goes out and bites someone, the town's going to be sued. We insure our cattle, because if they get out and you hit them, it's our problem, not the town.
I don't think there's any question, B, that if my dog goes and bites somebody,
It's your problem.
they're coming after me. But if I'm poor and I don't have any money, and who do they go after? They go after the deep pockets because we're negligent in telling that person they had to get a rabies shot for that dog. Whether the suit would be successful is, I'm not going that route. I'm just saying, Pete, I can sue you for being in Los Angeles yesterday, even though you haven't been there and you can prove you're not. You still have to defend yourself from it. So
Still costs you money.
it still costs you money. The thing about, would anybody ever sue? Only thing I'm going to tell you, I've been in the business thing 30 years. People sue over everything. They sue you over everything. So would they ever sue over this dog? I don't know. All we want you to do is follow the rules and, pay the $6, get a tag, and we're done.
Doesn't look like they're doing it, and they're gonna.
No, it doesn't. And we have backed off the warrant. There is warrant authority. We discussed this, and I don't want to get too far out here, but anyway, we discussed it about if you do the warrant and you follow through with the warrant, and then you go pick up the animal. You ready for this? And the police go, and you have to have a vehicle to do this. You can't throw it in the trunk of the car.
When they did big vehicles, the police,
It wouldn't be acceptable. You'd be sued for hauling a dog in the back of a vehicle. It wouldn't work. You got to have proper cages. You got to have all that stuff. You'll never get by with throwing a dog in a trunk.
Then you'll get sued.
You get sued for putting them in a trunk. I mean, well,
It's
that's the way it is. It's all crazy.
it all goes back. Take responsibility for this.
We agree. We agree.
We agree.
But the underlying piece, in my opinion, is we're here in this town if you want to call it a town where people live close together. And essentially it's so people don't get bit by rabid dogs. If you don't want to license your dog and you don't want to give them shots, you should be outside somewhere, up in the woods. Go live in the woods, and then nobody's going to look at you anyway. But the answer to the letter, all I can answer is there is an obligation for citizens to vaccinate their dogs properly. And maybe animals, but at least this is more or less about the dogs. And the town has some obligation to try to enforce that. And we've been written letters, we call them on the phone, send somebody to their house, and we're not getting anywhere. We have not said we're going to issue warrants and go pick up dogs. That's very expensive, very aggressive. That's my answer to the letter, if that's...
Put the official. Most want.
Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
On a positive note,
Please.
I'd like to pay a tribute to the guys in the road department for the job that they do in manicuring the premises here, and especially like the ball fields and that. I mean, they're beautiful, and they're better now than I've ever seen.
Jill James.
Or
Jill James.
whoever, give them a pat on the back.
The soccer field looks very nice. They had to replace a lot of grass out there. They came in very
They've
nicely.
done a wonderful job over there, and the place looks like a place where you would want to live if you drove in here. It's a well-cared facility, and I commend it.
Any others? All right, that being said, we're going to do item number 18 is non-public session, RSA 91-A:3, 2A, dismissal, promotion, compensation of a public employee. So we will go into non-public session. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
And all those in favor?
These three non-public sessions,
Yes.
the approved minutes on are all the same thing. So does that mean you handled, does that mean three different matters?
3 different matters, yes.
I want to show you a picture of Whitney's car.
Oh,